Hoodrich Radio is the voice of DJ Scream on your airways. My dog Moran is here. Special guest in the building going by the name of Veronica Vega. She is here.
Vega in the
Hoodrich Radio.
Shout out to Vega.
Thank you.
What up? Well, let's start with this sense of fashion.
Yes.
I mean, we looked at your Instagram, and it seems like every day you're just lit, fly. Who dresses you?
Thank you. I have a stylist that actually I found here in Atlanta. His name is Demi Dorsey.
Okay.
But he was born in Maryland and then was raised in North Carolina. So he just has, a lot of different things going on. But yeah, I mean, we just like fashion. We're passionate about it. We like to be creative. I think a lot of people who are creative are usually into clothes. So, we just try to make creative stuff happen.
Okay, that's what it is. Now, so how did you even end up on Love and Hip Hop, and what were you doing before you were on there?
Well, I'm signed to a producer from Atlanta named Polow Da Don.
Shouts to Polow.
Shout out to Polow.
So that's kind of like where I was before Love and Hip Hop started. I had a record with Pitbull called Wicked, and then after that, I did a record called Pay Me. That went viral, and then that's how Love and Hip Hop kind of came to be, because I think it was intriguing to them that it was so much, I guess, questions around the record or whatever it was that made people it made it a subject to speak about or whatever. So I think that was really what enticed them to really have me on the show. So they reached out a few times and was like, would you do Miami? Because first they reached out for Atlanta, but we refused because it didn't make sense. But when they were like, Miami, and me being from Miami, I'm from Miami, so to align your brand with something that makes sense with your city, it made more sense.
What have been the pros and the cons of the show? The good and the bad. The pros
is definitely the visibility. So to be able to make money, to be able to get exposure, all of those things are great. You're able to connect with more people than you ever would, unless you have a hit. You know what I'm saying? And then the cons is definitely the misperception of who you may be, or however your story is told. You can't really tell your story your way. Even if, because I think sometimes people are like, oh, well, you know what you're saying, but editing can't be everything. But I think in the context that the story is told always changes everything. You know what I'm saying? So that's definitely a con. You can't control how you are portrayed. Perceived. Yeah, perceived. Yeah.
Do you feel like they portray you the right way?
I think this season you definitely get a better idea of who I am as a person, where I come from, what my goals are, where I'm trying to go with my life. I think last season, like anybody, I think we all, when you start anything new, you don't really know what you're getting into. And how do I say this in short words? Like, I didn't know how everything went. So I had to learn the ropes, you know what I'm saying? And then this year I'm like, okay, cool, I get this better. You guys ain't gonna play me like last season.
Play you?
Yeah, play me like last season.
Word.
Like, first of all, I never intended to fight.
Yeah.
So the fight was real?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
yeah, like when it gets to a place and it escalates, is that the proper word? I speak Spanish. Escalate.
You say escalate.
Then you, at that point, if you're upset and you feel like somebody's disrespecting you and it just turned into something beyond your control, you feel like cornered, which I felt many times. I become aggressive. And so, then it becomes real. It doesn't start off real, but it ends up being real somehow. Yeah.
How does the smoke translate, like, off of the screen? Like, so you're all in Miami shooting Love and Hip Hop Miami, so you shoot there, but what happens if you are off camera and run into them in the grocery store or the club or something? Your smoke.
I've never ran into anyone outside. I'm not really a person who's trying to look for problems in general. And it takes a lot to really make me feel like you have a personal problem against me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that's really personal. I may feel something personal towards you, but I also don't feel like I should direct so much energy towards whatever you're doing. But if it's disrespectful, then I'm disrespectful. And if it's not, then I keep it moving. Because at the end of the day, like, I have bigger goals in mind. So I want to do something bigger than be violent or go to jail. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a mugshot yet. And I don't want one. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like, that's probably the only thing that really could come out of it if you really turn violent towards somebody who at the end of the day you feel like is only starting things with you because they want camera time. So it's like, is this a real fight for me? It's not real. No, it's not shade. It's true. So if they want to stand in the shade, then let it be. But it's not shady. It's the truth. Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't know any of them that literally aren't making this to create a career for themselves. Or some type of hype. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
How much time do you get to spend in the studio?
Oh, well, with Polow, you be sitting in the studio 20 years.
Right.
He's a perfectionist, so whenever we are in the studio, it's forever. And then I spent a lot of time in the studio.
You spend a lot of time in the studio.
That's good, though, right?
Years, just to cut it short. Yeah,
That's your favorite place.
It's great.
That's your favorite place to be?
My favorite place to be, is on stage. I think that's the better place.
You're a performer first.
Yes, okay. I like performing, but I love the studio, and then third, I love my bed.
All right,
nothing wrong with your bed.
Yeah, that's like unfortunately, that's like my drug of choice.
Sleep?
Yeah.
How much you sleep?
Not enough, but if I have a choice to do any drug, I'd rather do that. I'd rather get rest.
Rather go to sleep.
Which is really crazy.
Right. Very.
Which is really crazy, but Polow's always like, what, you gonna go to sleep? But, some people smoke weed. Some people drink alcohol. I rather just
what's so good about
recover.
Yeah, what's so good about the sleep?
I don't know. I think it's a comfort thing. Like how people find comfort in other things. I think like being in your it's something about being in your own space, being alone, being able to just I guess be in your own thoughts and have your own stuff together and be able to be relaxed. Like it's a relaxing thing for me to be able to sleep. I don't know, and maybe it correlates with like me being younger, and I think sometimes when you have issues when you're younger, like things that you do to cope, you know what I'm saying? And I think I always just cope that way. But first, performing. The stage is my favorite place. I love the studio and anywhere creative, anything that's creative, I love.
You're like a dancer, like you dance a lot in your performances too?
Yes.
You got moves?
Yes, always. You're always dancing. Boy, you got to pay for that.
Oh, wow. We've been charged.
We didn't charge you to come on our show.
Charged. No.
Just saying.
Okay, you should be on Love and Hip Hop.
Absolutely not.
And we've been speaking it. It's coming soon.
No, absolutely. It's inevitable. Hell it ain't. No,
it is.
We'll see. Everybody says no at first.
I mean, you should never say never. I said I'd never grow dreads. But
I can see Moran on Love and Hip Hop.
But how long have you been doing music?
I've been doing music since I was 15. I got signed for the first time when I was 15 years old to Atlantic. And then since then it's been like just always finding like the right style for you, things that you feel like really make sense for what you're doing. And, me being from Miami and being influenced by so many different styles of music has been a journey to be able to find the style of music that makes the most sense with who I am,
Was that hard? Because in Miami, y'all got the reggaeton, y'all had Pitbull popping, y'all had Trick Daddy popping.
Yeah, you got bass, it's still soulful, it's a lot. I mean, it's not as hard when you have Polow, I will say that.
That's fair.
He's really good at studying sounds. He's really good at, he's a great producer. So he does his job well, and he's helped me a lot to be able to become confident in my own self and music and everything else, you know what I'm saying, to be able to have comfort in what I'm doing.
Dope.
Yeah.
What's some of your hobbies outside of music, studio?
I love working out.
Working out?
Yeah. Cool. I like to work out.
Working out and sleeping.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you work a lot, you do enjoy. There's something that you do in your downtime.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's something that I do when I can.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my guilty pleasure.
Right. It's like you're talking about it like it's heroin.
Yeah, it's like it's my guilty pleasure.
No, she sleeps.
But I love.
Some people sleep.
Yeah. Well, I can't. If you come in, I hear everything. So that's
so
the
you're not even deep
part.
sleeping?
Yeah, I can't deep sleep.
Wow.
But so that's why when I do it, it's like I gotta be by myself. I gotta turn the TV off. It's like a thing. It's like it's a moment. But I love working out. I love doing outdoor activities. I actually have a bike ride that we do every year that goes from Atlanta to Miami. So we ride a bicycle, no motor. No, just you, your bike, a book bag, and we choose 10 people, 10 lucky people. It takes 17 days.
Okay.
You do it every year?
Yes.
When do you do this?
April.
You about to do it?
Yes.
I ain't going.
Everybody always says that, but when they see it, they're like, "Oh my God!" And we really change people's lives on this ride. So like being able to do things to help change people's lives and through fitness and through doing outdoor activities, I think it like really connects people back, like centers you again.
Do you like ride on the road?
Yeah, we ride on the road. We ride on the side, so on the side of the highway, like the interstate, basically.
How many people do this?
Last year we had 30 of us total.
Wow.
Yeah.
This hasn't been on World Star or anything.
No.
Wow.
So
it
y'all
was on the show. We did.
Y'all start from point A. Y'all ride. Y'all obviously stop for.
We stop every night before sundown to make sure that everybody's safe, and we start in the morning, so everybody wakes up. It's not like a race or anything like that. It's just like a growth journey, and everybody does it so they can kind of like get a jump start on life, or maybe you just lost your job, or maybe you want to start something new, or maybe you don't believe in yourself, or maybe you've just hit a low point, or maybe you're just an adventurous person who wants to, you know what I'm saying? So we fully sponsor 10 people completely. Wow. We pay for your hotel every single night. You stay at a hotel every single night, and you move at your own pace, and you try to make sure that you achieve this. And of course, you go through a lot of discomforts. You go through, a lot of things that you probably would never imagine going through, but you ride through the rain, because in life, when times get hard, you still ride through the problems.
I have never heard anything this cool in my life. Never in my life. That tells us a lot about you.
Fitness.
So what happens? So like they get to Miami, do they fly back to where they come from?
Yeah, you fly back to where you came from. But we have like a party at the end, and Monster Products has done our parties in the past.
Does anybody ever not make it? Like, the hell with this?
No, we actually had somebody who was over 400 pounds on our last ride, and he made it the whole entire way. And Atlanta has a lot of hills. It's kind of difficult to get out of Atlanta, because once you hit Florida, it's a little bit easier, but unless you take the beach route,
again,
that sand be hitting.
This is a bike, not a motorcycle.
It's a bicycle. It has 2 wheels. You push it with your legs.
Wow.
And that's how you get there. And we average around 50 miles a day. And it's a total of 820 miles total.
Wow.
What made you want to do that?
Polow dared me. He said I couldn't.
Wow.
That's how it started.
Of all things, like...
Yeah, he was like, he didn't say you couldn't, because I know he knew I could, but he was like, would you actually, like, I know you can do it, but will you actually do it? And I'm like, of course I could do it. I can make it. He was like, but will you actually make it? You know what I'm saying? And that's like it's a mental thing more than anything. It's not really a physical thing more than it is a mental thing, because after you're 3 days in and you've already gone a few hundred miles, you're like, I already proved enough to myself. I could be on a bike for 3 days. Like, why am I going to finish? And it's like, and that's the moment where you kind of like turn into a different person, and you kind of see what you're really made of. And that's really what the bike ride is so you can really, like, at that point, by the time you finish, you kind of really realize like who you are. You know your character flaws, you know your pros, you know your cons, you know who you'll work with, you know who you wouldn't, you know how to work in teams. You know what I'm saying? You start, it's real, it's a growth journey. We've changed a lot of people's lives on this. My life has changed. The first year that I did it with my best friend. It was just us, and then we gathered people along the way, believe it or not. And then the second year that I did it, I was the leader of the bike ride, and I learned in a different way. Because the first year was my journey. The second year was like helping people on their journey, which I thought was going to be easier, but was way worse. Right. So, it's like, it's therapeutic too,
Wow.
Sleep.
That's one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
Well, if you do fitness, you got to sleep.
True.
I definitely believe that, some people's always like team no sleep. Polow team no sleep. I never see that man ever have. He doesn't sleep. He takes like 10-minute naps. But I'm a big believer, especially when I'm really getting in shape and I'm really like taking my fitness serious, to eat a certain amount of times a day, to sleep a certain amount of hours a day, because you need your mind to be at a certain level of power in order for you to do something and for you to concentrate and give everything that you have. So I'm a big believer in making sure that you get not excessively sleeping, you know what I'm saying, but making sure that you get enough hours to help yourself recover, especially if you work out. You need recovery.
True. Okay. Yeah. That's amazing. Final question. Favorite dish for Veronica Vega?
Oh, I really, really love going to Cheetah here.
The Cheetah?
And yes, and getting the lobster tail and grits.
Oh, lobster tail and grits. Okay. It's either going to be chicken and grits or lobster tail and grits. It got to be one or the other. Or shrimp and grits. One of them.
True that.
Yep. Like, that's probably my favorite thing to eat in Atlanta.
So you don't live here at all?
I have. There's a place too called the White House out here. They do like, it's like a white breakfast spot. And they do chicken biscuits with gravy on it. I love that too. But I mean, you know, I'm Cuban and Venezuelan, so I like rice and beans and, you know, all of that stuff. I still like all of that stuff. But yeah, if I could have, I discovered grits way later in my life. Like way later. Like I was maybe like 19 when I discovered grits.
What?
And I was like,
why would your family do you like
holy
that?
shit.
That is so disrespectful.
Yeah.
I guess it's kind of how I didn't discover like Cuban food till maybe my late teens.
That's fair.
And it's great food.
We do like, our families do more like things like corn based and you know what I'm saying? So it's like
a lot of rice.
It's different. Yeah, a lot of rice. Any meal that you eat is always with rice. Like if you have vegetables, it's probably in a soup. It's not really like, you know, I feel like Americans do a lot of vegetables with their food. And I don't think we do it unless it's incorporated in our meat. You know what I'm saying? When you're from the Caribbean.
It's hard.
So it's a little bit different. I mean, we do sometimes, but it's mostly it's rice. And if you do, like, we do a lot of plantains. You know, I love plantains.
Go hard.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a worldwide.
Absolutely.
But grit, I love grits.
You put sugar in your grits?
No.
You should.
No.
Girl, I'm telling you, you should
No,
do it.
I
Try
put
it.
cheese in my grits and salt and pepper in my grits.
You don't put no sugar?
No sugar.
You don't have to put sugar in your grits.
No, and I will not.
Okay, all right.
I will not.
All right.
You know what's crazy? That the same thing happens with black beans, right? Being Cuban, there's some people that put sugar in their beans, and there's some people that eat them with. And my sister and my mom, they put sugar in their beans. I'm like, oh no.
I didn't know that.
But I'm more like a salty girl, anyways. Like I like.
That's what I'm
salt.
saying. If I want my grits to be dessert, I'll put sugar in them. But you don't have to put sugar.
Right, sugar in the grits be busting, bro. Be busting. Dude, I said you should try it. It might. You'll like it, guaranteed.
Bluetooth's
I'm gonna like it better than cheese grits.
I'm not gonna say you're gonna like it better than that, but you will like it.
Man, when I tell you, I love grits.
Cheese grits are amazing too, but I guarantee you, sugar in your grits is crazy. And you work out every day, so you'll be straight.
Hilarious.
Hopefully.
Yo.
I mean, when I drink my coffee, I put sugar with a little bit of coffee. So it's like I do like sugar, but I like sugar in certain things. So maybe it'd be good.
Right.
I don't drink coffee, so I can't relate.
We appreciate you pulling up the Hoodrich Radio. Give everybody an Instagram. We definitely gonna bring you back for DMs Exposed.
Absolutely.
Oh shoot, Veronica Vega. That's what it is. Twitter, Instagram, Veronica Vega, and then Facebook, Vegamundo, VEGAMUNDO.
And shout out your stylist one more time, girl. You fresh.
Absolutely.
I want to shout out my stylist, Demi Dorsey.
Okay. So Hoodrich Radio's 96.7 The Beat. Salute.